name is Joshua Cooper, and I am the lead teacher, the pastor of the Bridge Community Church here in Muncie, Indiana. Question. It turns out I have very few answers, but I'm okay with that, and so college students, I think it's a vital time for them. It's a pivotal time for them, and I think they've got to be able to reorient some things, to change their compass in a lot of areas of life, not just spirituality, but our front lobes don't develop until we're in our early 20s, and so you're going to be learning massive amounts of new information between 18 and 25, and you're going to think in new ways, and so you just got to be ready for that as much as you can. So at the same time, don't throw out the baby with the bathwater. Don't toss out all your belief just because a few things don't line up anymore that used to line up. Embrace doubt, because doubt helps us grow in our faith. Be open about your doubts. Share it. God can handle your doubts. So I think it's it's scary to do for a lot of people, because going from having every answer to not every answer is a difficult thing. Going from one view of the Bible to a little bit of a different one can be a scary jump for people. Instead of going, nope, not going to read that because it's not what I agree with. I think if Jesus is the truth, and if the scriptures are somehow inspired by God, we can't be afraid of the challengers. We need to not take them on as in debate. We need to listen to them. Yes, as far as sermon preparation goes, I typically, around the fall, I'll try to lay out a calendar for the entire year. It's always subject to change, and changes a lot, but we do series teachings at the Bridge. So we'll really kind of look at what do we want to teach on, what different books of the Bible do we want to teach out of, or what topics do we want to teach out of. And so we map that out, and then sermon prep itself takes, I say that it takes 10 years in a day. Like, it usually takes me a day to write it, but it's really 10 years worth of stuff that I'm gathering, and ideas that I've had, stories that I've used, stuff like that. And so when I sit down, typically I'll map out, now that I know my series and what I'm going to be talking about, I'll put an outline to that entire series, where I want to go through that series. And then for each individual sermon, I usually sit down. Thursday's my sermon prep day, so I've already got it in my mind what I'm going to talk about, the scriptures I'm going to use, some different illustrations or stories or ideas. And Thursday's the day where I sit down and just put it all together until I feel good about it. And then typically the rest of the week is just practicing it over and over and getting comfortable with the material and editing it where I need to edit it. Faith grows and develops and changes over time, and our faith should not look the same today as it did a year ago, and our faith better not look the same a year from now as it does today, right? Because we have to journey forward. We have to challenge ourselves. Well, let me be very honest with you. I don't want to sugarcoat this. I don't want to water this down. I don't want to oversimplify or undersell this. The journey in following Jesus is very, very difficult. It's very unlike the world. It's going to cost you a lot. It really will. When I was a junior in high school, we had a prayer vigil at our church, which basically people signed up for 24 hours straight of prayer. And he asked me and a couple of my buddies if we wanted to come in and spend the night at the church, because they wanted people coming in the middle of the night to feel safe, like somebody was there. So we said, oh yeah. He said, we'll get pizza, we'll play ping pong, just hang out in the library. Sure, great, whatever. We're high school students. So we do that, and I remember him saying there's a slot from 2 to 3:30 in the morning that hasn't been filled. He said, so I'm going to go in there and pray for the hour and a half. You guys can come with us, or you can stay in here, whatever. And I remember us kind of having a little huddle, and we're like, an hour and a half of prayer, that sounds awful. So he said, we'll go in for 20 minutes. And he said, great, whatever you guys want to do, no pressure, you don't have to go in at all if you don't. He said, we'll go in for 20 minutes. And it was just a powerful hour and a half we ended up saying the whole time. And it was just one of those moments, one of the very few moments I had in my life where I just felt like God speaking to me, whereas I didn't audibly hear God's voice or anything like that. You just kind of felt like God was doing something in that moment. In fact, we all felt it, because as soon as our time got up, we went back to the library, and he goes, my youth pastor said, I think we need to talk about what just happened in there. We're like, yeah, I think so. And it was that time, I didn't know what I was meaning by it, but I said, I feel like God is somehow calling me into ministry, and I don't know what that looks like. And I had always planned on following my dad's footsteps, he's an insurance agent, has made a great life, flexibility. I thought that's what I want to do. But from that point forward, I went, okay, there's different doors opening here. Ever since that, doors have just continued to open to be involved in different ministries, to plant a church and to do stuff. And so that was kind of the thing for me. And yeah, so that I really did kind of have this one moment where it happened. But a lot of people who may be hearing this, God doesn't always work that way either. I was pretty lucky. I think I was so stubborn that God had to give me this moment and say, no, listen to me.